All right, Jeff Goodman here with Terrence Oglesby for another NBA draft breakdown. And today for the Field of 68, we are going to break the game down of one Anthony Black, a long point guard, freshman point guard from Arkansas. Didn't shoot the ball great, T.O. He came out of the gate strong, too. He had a great Maui Invitational, and everybody moved him up on their mock drafts. Into the lottery, and that's where he probably is right now. Still a lottery pick projected because, again, he's every bit of 6'7". Everybody loves length these days, and everybody loves long point guards these days as well, and he gives you that. What do you think about Anthony Black, and first of all, how he projects into the NBA?
Well, the big thing is projectable skills, and you alluded to a lot of them. 6'7", long, live legs, and he can get to spots. Now, while he isn't one of the widest shoulder, broadest guys, he's got a wide base, and he's got strong legs, and he can get to spots quick, fast, and in a hurry. And the way Musselman used him is a lot of the same ways he's going to be used at the pro level. He's going to be using ball screens. He's going to be attacking closeouts. He's somebody that can make plays, read that second level of the defense. And there's a lot to like about this young man. Does he shoot it as well as you want to? At this point in his career, no, but it's not broken. I'll be honest with you. I think the set point is a little bit too high. It's right above the middle of his forehead, but the fall through is nice. He's got good hands. He projects as if he's going to be able to shoot it better later in his career. He's a guy, like you said, a lot of projectable tools, 6'7", 200 pounds right now. He's going to be able to put on a little bit of weight. He can guard multiple positions. He's a really, really good athlete. A lot to like about Anthony Black and his future in the NBA.
30% three-point shooter, as you said. That's the biggest concern that I have about Anthony Black. We know that's the one skill you can probably improve the most in the league if you work on it.
Right.
Will Anthony Black sit in the gym over and over and over and become – he doesn't become a great three-point shooter. He's got to become a solid three-point shooter. I kind of see him, when I watch him, I kind of see a little bit of Sean Livingston.
Sure.
And just how I see him, right? That long, lanky frame. And I'm not sure if he's pre-injury Sean Livingston or post-injury Sean Livingston. And pre-injury Sean Livingston was a lottery pick, was a guy that people thought could be a star in the NBA. Post was a good, solid role guy. Is Anthony Black a guy that you kind of foresee is somebody that you're going to draft and build your franchise around? Or is he going to be more of a guy that we don't know? He could go either way. He could be a starting point guard, or ultimately, if he doesn't shoot it well enough, if he doesn't get stronger, we're looking at a backup point guard in the NBA.
I think we're looking at a starting point guard in the NBA. I think a lot of it comes down to who he's going to be playing with. Fit is everything. Could he be a secondary ball handler? He'd be excellent at that. It's just the $100 million question, and literally $100 million question.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah, exactly. Can he shoot 35 to 40% from three? And I like that comparison a little bit. The early Sean Livingston, his ability to get to spots and use his athleticism, that's a good one. The second portion of Livingston's career, I mean, what a career he had with the circumstances that he was dealt. Like his ability to develop that mid-range jump shot, his ability to use his size at a time where the game was starting to change and he always had a mismatch. Anthony Black's still going to have some mismatches. His ability to stretch the floor. Defensively, I'm not necessarily worried. That's more of a focus thing for somebody like him because of the NBA.
And a strength thing for him.
Absolutely it is. Yeah. But I think because of his lower body strength, I think he's going to be fine. And he can cover a lot of ground fairly quickly. And in the NBA, where you can't sit in that lane forever, you got to jump, you got to get from help side to help spot really, really fast. He has that size. He has that ability to do that. Can he be a starter for a team in the playoffs? I think it's very well a possibility given the right circumstance. That everything is circumstance in the NBA, but all those tools are there. I just love the way that he's able to get players on his hip whenever he's using ball screens. And once you're there, you're trapped because once he has that length over the top, he is a quality finisher. He is a guy who can finish at the rim. But like you said, Jeff, it comes down to shooting the basketball.
The other concern I had was he was so good early in the season that our expectations were like, all right, this kid's a natural point guard. He makes all the right plays. And again, he reverted back to being a freshman to me in the middle of the season and towards the end of the season. making some great plays for others. And then also his decision making being questioned, taking care of the ball. He was a freshman. Again, I think after Maui and early in the season in November, we were like, oh my God, this kid's going to be a top 5 pick. Because again, that length, and he started to make some shots, and he was the best player on Arkansas's team earlier in the year. And then he kind of came down to earth and showed that inconsistency that we see out of so many freshmen. How is it just going to be a maturity thing where he, again, makes better decisions consistently? Because that was clearly an issue for him.
I think as the season went on, too, I think teams started to pack the lane and make him make some of these long passes. Left elbow to right corner type passes. Like, those aren't easy things to do, especially when you're a freshman and you're having to make those decisions consistently. But I also say this, as a freshman, a guy who was in a ball dominant type of offense, because Muss puts the ball in his best player's hands. He does it consistently. He did that with Anthony Black this year and had some success. I mean, they made the Sweet 16. Now, his production was up and down, sure, but a 1.3 assist to turnover ratio, I'll take that as a freshman for a guy who had the ball in his hands as much as he did. I also want to say, too, as the season goes along and you're playing against SEC competition, the wings get longer, the players get bigger, and the lane gets really tight. And when the lane gets tight, you're having to make those passes much smaller windows. Now, I say that to say this. I understand the NBA players are bigger. I understand they're better. I understand they're stronger. They're older. They're smarter.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
There's more space. And a lot of that is because the longer 3-point arc and the defensive 3 seconds. So he's going to have a little bit more time, a little bit more space to make these decisions on the fly. There's just so much to like about this young man. Really, the downside is he going to fall into a situation where his confidence gets beaten down? Because if that's the case, it's going to be tough for him to really advance, because the things that he does really well are bravado driven or confidence driven, getting in there and making these long skip passes, having a good handle on the ball. That fit is so important. I feel like I go back and say it. But if he gets behind a veteran or somebody that can really push him in the right direction, sky's the limit. And not just as a quality starter, in my opinion, because of that athletic ability and because his ability to see the second line of defense, could have an all-star season or two. I think he is that good.
Yeah, you have to put, to me, Anthony Black around shooters.
Sure.
You have to, especially early in his career. If you don't, it's kind of like De'Aaron Fox early in his career at Sacramento, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't shoot it well. You didn't have him around enough shooters, and he got better, obviously, over the first few years of his career. And then you surround him with shooters, with guys like Kevin Huerter, with other good shooters. That helps. I think
Keegan Murray.
Yeah, Keegan Murray too. So I think for Anthony Black, it's going to be a progression. It is not going to happen. He's not going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate overnight. I think he's going to be a piece early. But again, the question is, Theo, are you taking Anthony Black high enough that you're just going to throw him in and let him play 30 minutes and let him play through his mistakes. And is that what he needs? I'd rather put him in a scenario where he gets drafted in the middle of the first round, which I'm not sure he's going to go that low. I think he could go in the top 10, somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. But I'd almost rather him be in a situation where a lot isn't counted on him right away, and he can play 10 minutes a game and learn from a veteran point guard on a decent team, and people aren't watching him. He's not getting thrown into the fire, and like you said, his confidence getting hammered because he's not making shots, because physically he's being overpowered by some of these bigger, stronger, older point guards.
Yeah, and say he goes somewhere in the middle of the first, like say Atlanta's drafting in that would be a terrible spot for him. Just because you have Trey, you have DeJounte Murray, like that would be a bad spot. He does need some time. And here's the good part about today's NBA is every team has their affiliate, right? I think that's the good part about today's NBA, because this guy needs court time. He needs to be able to read these situations in an NBA setting. I have no doubt that he will. I would be hard-pressed to believe he goes past 10, 10, 11, just because of those natural tools that he does have.
There's nobody else out there. Who else is there as a
past
point guard with
past the
plan?
top three, it's tough. Past the top three, you have the Thompson twins, you have Wembanyama, you have Scoot, you have some of these guys that are really, really talented at that very top. He's in that second tier. And if he lands in the right spot and he's thrown into the Wolves, I could see like a second team, all rookie team next year in that range, just because of his ability to impact the game in a lot of other ways than just shooting the basketball.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a kid that, again, came in with a lot of hype, a McDonald's All-American, but he came into an Arkansas team that was loaded.
Yep.
You're looking at Nick Smith, who was even came in with more hype. Jordan Walsh came in with more hype. And Anthony Black was arguably, maybe not even arguably, he was the best freshman on that team, partially because Nick Smith was hurt. Jordan Walsh couldn't shoot. So like you said, he was put into probably a system that didn't help his strengths, because they didn't have shooters. Ricky Council couldn't shoot. So if you put him with a team with a couple dudes that could really knock down shots, I think Anthony Black would have looked even better.
And that assist to turnover ratio is better.
Yes.
I mean, and Jordan Walsh, who I'm a big fan of, but at this point in his life, like, he's not a great shooter. If he's shooting 40% instead of a 1.3 assist to turnover ratio, we're probably looking at something significantly higher for Anthony Black, just because he made a lot of those reads. They just didn't end up in buckets. Right. So put him with shooters, put him with guys around him. He can finish. And because he can finish, that help's going to come over in long ways, and he's going to be able to make that second read.
Averaged about 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers a game last year, 6'7", 200. Anthony Black, Arkansas freshman. Look for him to be taken somewhere in the lottery this year, Tio.
And defensively, he really reads the passing lanes well. And they're lost to UConn 5 steals and several other games this year, 3 steals, 4 steals. Like, he's long enough, he's smart enough that he reads the defense. And I'll be honest with you, Jeff, I think he could be somebody that plays really well off the ball, gets in the passing lanes because of his short area quickness, his explosiveness. He can get out and get a couple of steals, an impact player on that end of the floor as well.
The biggest key for Anthony Black, shooting, shooting, shooting. There you have it. Another breakdown, Field of 68 NBA draft profile, Anthony Black. Make sure you watch all of our NBA draft profiles on the Field of 68.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.